Welcome back to Architectural Journeys. I am Charlie, and today we're diving into one of the most iconic, eerie, and awe-inspiring styles in history, Gothic architecture. Join me are my co-hosts Liz, Edson, and Valentina. Together, we're going to explore what made this style so unique and influential.
Hi everyone! I have always been drawn to Gothic architecture, tall spires and intricate details, but there is so much more behind those pointed arches that meets the eye.
And I'm here for the history. Gothic architecture wasn't just a style, it was a cultural movement that shaped Europe's cities and churches for hundreds of years.
Absolutely. Gothic architecture wasn't just about aesthetics. It was deeply rooted in spirituality, ambition, and even a bit of friendly rivalry between cities. Let's get into it.
Okay, features and styles of Gothic architecture. So, Liz, give us a quick rundown of what defines Gothic architecture. What's the must know list?
Alright, picture this: pointed arches, raised vaults, flying portices, and of course, stained glass. Those stained glass windows weren't just decorative, they told stories, biblical ones mostly, for people who couldn't read. And let's not forget the towering spires and gargoyles. Gothic architecture was all about reaching toward the heavens and filling space with light, which was a huge change from the heavier, darker Romanesque style that came before it.
And the funny thing is, the term Gothic was originally used as an insult. Renaissance folk thought these buildings were barbaric, calling them Gothic after the Goths, who were seen as uncivilized, but clearly we've come to see the beauty in those stone marbles.
Famous Gothic buildings and structures.
So let's talk buildings. I mean, what would Gothic architecture be without the masterpieces like Notre Dame de Paris?
Oh, Notre Dame, built in the 12th century. It's a perfect example. Those famous flying traces. Notre Dame was one of the first to use them in such a visible way. They are not just beautiful, they helped support the weight of those massive stone walls, which allowed for larger windows. It was revolutionary.
And we can't skip the Cologne Cathedral in Germany. It took over 600 years to complete, from the 3rd century to the 19th century. It's one of the tallest Gothic cathedrals in the world and stands as a testament to the ambition and dedication of that period.
Then there's the Chartres cathedrals in France, with its stained glass windows that are over 800 years old. When you stand inside, you're literally looking at a piece of medieval history, a window into their world.
Materials and construction techniques.
Let's get a bit technical here. What materials did they use? I mean, we're taking massive structures that have lasted for centuries.
Primarily stones, especially limestones, because it was durable and abundant in Europe. But construction was no small feat. The rivet walls and pointed arches were not used for show. They allowed builders to create tighter structures with thinner walls. This let it more light, which was exactly why they were aiming for, like symbolizing divinity, so filing a church, which it was like a metaphor for bringing people closer to good.
And those flying buttresses, they weren't used for style. They were essential for structural support. The pressure of the dull, heavy wheels needed to be redirected outward, and buttresses helped carry that weight. It's amazing when you think about it. These builders were solving complex engineering challenges centuries ago without the technology we have today.
Cultural and historical context. So let's get into why Gothic architecture became so popular. This wasn't just a style, it represented by something much bigger.
Absolutely. It started in France around the 12th century, during a time of relative peace and economic growth in Europe. Cities were flourishing and the church was incredibly influential. People wanted to build grand cathedrals that would demonstrate both their faith and their wealth. And this era saw something of a building competition. Cities wanted to outdo each other with grander and grander cathedrals.
And on a deeper level, these cathedrals were built to be awe, inspiring, place where people could experience the divine. Gothic architecture was about creating a physical space that felt holy, with the dull spires and light purple in from all angles. The architecture itself became a spiritual experience.
Interesting stories and anecdotes.
Here is a fun one. You know the gargoyles that decorate so many Gothic cathedrals? They weren't used for decoration. Many of them served as rain spots, directing water away from the building. But the creepy designs also had another purpose. They were meant to ward off evil spirits.
And get this, the builders who worked on these cathedrals sometimes left little Easter eggs in the architecture. In some cathedrals, you'll find small carvings of the workers themselves, hidden in places most people wouldn't notice. It was like their signature.
And we can't forget about the architectural mysteries of the Gothic period. Some techniques they used, like getting those massive stones up to distinct heights, remind a bit of a mystery. There are even theories that they might have some ancient, secret methods that got lost over time.
Alright, that's our deep dive into Gothic architecture. From flying buttress to gargoyles, there's so much to admire and be inspired by.
We hope you enjoyed this journey into the past as much as we did. Gothic architecture wasn't just a style, it was a movement that shaped cities, culture, and the human experience.
And next time that you're wandering around a Gothic cathedral, take a moment to appreciate all the details. Every stone has a story.
Thanks for listening to Architectural Journeys. Join us next time as we explore the Renaissance, a wondrous world of innovation and style. Until then, keep looking up and keep wondering about the incredible structures that the story has let you.
See you next time!